Hey y'all, it's Arturo Peel here in New Orleans. Um, I don't know about y'all, but this trial is working my nerves really uh, vastly, bigly, hugely, and so I need to practice. I need to practice more, and in particular, I've spent a lot of the last 20 years teaching therapeutic yoga trainings. And this time, right now, I need to practice some restorative yoga, some therapeutic yoga to help get me out of this fight or flight zone that I find myself in again. Um, I know I'm not alone in feeling that the reserves over the course of the last 13 months, the reserves have been getting drained, and not just the last 13 months. It's been a lifetime of of dealing with racism and living with racism. So in these practices, I'm going to do one restorative yoga practice, and I'll also do a little reading from a number of texts. Today, it's going to be something from Dr. Gail Parker's book, Restorative Yoga for Ethnic and Race-Based Stress and Trauma. Um, Wonderful book, by the way. But let's set up for the pose first. So I have a bolster and 3 blankets. If you don't have a bolster, you can make something bolster-ish. It can work with a couch cushion. And instead of blankets, if you don't have yoga blankets, you can use a couple of towels. You just want to make sure you fold them smooth. And I'm folding this one, so it's about yay tall. And I'm going to place that right about the middle of the mat. This one's, the bolster is down at the end, about a third up from the end of the mat. And I'm going to take another bolster, a blanket or towel, roll it, and set it on top. And then my third blanket is going to come flat here at the head end. So as I come back, I want this edge, this top edge, my head's going to be this way. I want this top edge to be right at the bottom corner of my shoulder blade. You might know this pose if you've done restorative yoga. This pose is called Mountain Brook. And my hips will be here. I can even show you with the spine. My hips are going to be here, my legs going over the bolster and blanket, so my hips are going to be floating. And then this top edge should be around T7, okay? And then I'm going to make a little curl for right underneath my occiput and upper cervical spine. So that's where we're going in just a minute. But first, a little reading from Gail Parker's book. And this is from page 36, from the intro, basically, and how she got into restorative yoga. What I loved most about the restorative yoga practice was that it was practiced in stillness and silence, and gave me a chance to notice my own internal workings. As a psychologist, this was very important to me, as much of my work involves helping people live consciously by becoming aware of their inner thoughts and feelings, and how those impact one's lives and the lives of those you encounter. Restorative yoga gave me deeper access to my interior life and supported emotional balance too. I taught restorative yoga with that in mind, hoping it would do the same thing for my students. I eventually began to share the practice with my psychotherapy clients as a therapeutic intervention to help ease the suffering of emotional distress they experienced. The practice seemed like a perfect way to support people in the process of healing emotional wounds, to support self-study, and to bring ease and calm into turbulent and contracted lives. Thank you, Dr. Gale. Ease and calm. So we're going to get into the pose. Now, one thing you may notice, you may hear in this room is I have a dog who is panting loudly because we have really loud thunder going on, and she might come over and lay on top of me. Don't mind her. So I'm going to start off sitting on the mat. I'm not sitting on the blanket, sitting on the mat and bringing this right underneath my knees. Then I want to feel where the bottom corner of my shoulder blade is. It's right about there. It's right about the height of, if you're wearing a bra, it's the height of the bra strap line, approximately. And this edge of the blanket is going to go right in that spot. And my shoulders down on the mat, so my shoulders aren't on a blanket. Using my abs, my hands, and coming on back. I can feel that it's a little low. So to adjust it up higher, I'm just going to lift my hips and scooch it up. Oh, right there. And then extend my legs over. And then make a little cervical roll, not too big, and nestle it right into the occiput. Now, this pose is also great for counteracting the rounding forward position of being on laptops all the time. It's also making a lot of space in the chest. As you make more space, you're able to get more breath in and out. So as you settle in, and you may need to wiggle and adjust to find just the right spot, you want to feel your shoulders all the way down on the ground. Your arms can go straight out to the sides if you have enough room, or you can lift the blanket a little bit and slide your upper arm underneath the blanket. And let's start off with some intention breath. And I'm going to do this practice with you because I need this practice. Let's start off by breathing into the upper chest intentionally, taking some chest breaths. Focusing on filling the heart space with the breath. And notice how this breath feels. How it feels physically. Does it feel familiar or awkward? How it feels energetically and emotionally. And then we're going to change that breath to a simple diaphragmatic breath. Now, the chest breath can be a little bit of a fight or flight breath. And the opposite of that, the rest and digest breath, is the belly breath. So breathing in to the belly and breathing out from the belly. You can place one or both hands on your low belly. And I'm just doing the simple belly breath. If you're a long time yogi, you may feel the need or the urge to do the 3-part breath. And you're welcome to do that. Just make sure you fill up the diaphragm on the inhale and exhale. The diaphragmatic breath helps turn off the fight or flight response, turning on the parasympathetic or rest and digest response. Notice if you're holding your jaw, see if you can let your jaw soften. Notice if the muscles in between your eyebrows are working. See if you can find a little softness there. And eventually letting go of the effort with the belly breath, and let the breath return to its natural rhythm in and out across the body. At any point, if this gets uncomfortable, you can transition out by placing one foot at a time on the bolster, gently lifting the hips and sliding the blanket out from behind the heart, and then lowering your hips back down. Otherwise, we'll stay here for just a couple of more minutes, letting the fascia across the chest melt open, space around the solar plexus and the diaphragm, getting a gentle lengthening and opening, making more space for the diaphragm to do its big movement on the inhale and exhale. And deepen your breath again. You're welcome to stay here for a few more minutes if you like. Otherwise, I'm going to talk you out of the pose. Bend one knee at a time, placing the feet up on top of the bolster. You can slide that blanket or towel off the top of the bolster. And then pressing down with both feet, lifting the hips slowly, lift them just enough that you can reach behind and slide that blanket out from behind your heart. And then slowly roll down your spine, one vertebrae at a time. And extend the legs out over the bolster That blanket might have come underneath your ankles, which is a nice extra float to your hips. And just take a few breaths, noticing how your back feels on the flat ground. And then bending one knee at a time, placing the feet up on the bolster. Take your arms out to the side. I have a wall right there, so I'm just going to let my hand go up the wall. And we need to counterpose the back bend, the extension of the spine, with a gentle twist. So I'm going to press down with my feet, lift my hips a tiny bit, high girl, and shift my hips a little to the left and set them down. Oh, the big booms. And then my hips shifted to the left. I'm going to inhale and exhale my knees over to the right, turning my nose either towards the ceiling or the opposite direction of my knees, and resting in the twist for about 5 deep breaths. And your next inhale, slowly inhale your knees to the center, your nose to the center. Press down with your feet, lift your hips and swing them over to the right, past center a little bit. Set your hips down. Inhale and exhale your knees to the left. Nose either stays towards the ceiling or goes to the right. And about 5 slow, deep breaths in the twist. Your next inhale. Inhale the knees to the center, the nose to the center. Press down with your feet, lift and center your hips, and then set them back down. Take your knees in towards your chest and rock a little from side to side. And come back to center and extend your legs out over the bolster, the towel down at your ankles, and take a final relaxation as long as you'd like. You can stay here for 2 minutes or 20 minutes. Shavasana is a very important pose. And I'm going to leave you in the final relaxation. But as you settle here, I'd like you to take some of those deep belly breaths again. Breathing into the low belly. Breathing out from the low belly. Some nice diaphragmatic breaths. On the exhale, you can make a little moan, a little groan. Let your voice vibrate all the layers of your being. Eventually letting go of the effort of the belly breath and just resting in your final relaxation. Taking as much time as you like to recharge, renew yourself, replenish your batteries by taking the time to rest.